Well, hey, I'm just going to get stuck in because I have a little bit of an idea. Um, so, I was just watching another guy's stream for a little bit. You should check him out. He does. See, it seems like he does decent stuff. Percepties, it's good stuff. But yeah, he was talking about the Barb Quartet, and I was like, yeah, Barb Quartet. We could do some interesting things with that, and specifically. All right. So, keeping in mind here that you could give this a source, a voltage source from all kinds of different places, right? Your voltage source could be like slowly moving up and down, it could be like jumping around, it could be doing all kinds of weird stuff, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, he was talking about the expander for the Bard Quartet, which I think I kind of want to get now because it's got an extra 3 trigger outputs. So this has a single trigger output. And that's kind of unfortunate. Here's the thing to think about, okay? And the reason that this is kind of important, like that, to have a trigger output. Let's say you give it a voltage source that doesn't have a trigger, okay? A sequencer has a trigger, for example, right? Even the basic, like, Behringer one that I've got down here will spit out a gate every time it passes a step, okay? Which is, is useful. But if you give it something like an LFO or a sloths or something like that, then as it passes between those voltages and it snaps to the next one, however you have it quantized, right? You're kind of rounding it off to the nearest voltage. The triggers don't necessarily coincide. Okay. I'll give you a super quick example. It's a really easy thing to demonstrate. All right. So, if I let's take a basic LFO from Oct, and we'll stick it into okay. And then we take an output and we go into an oscillator. Okay. Any oscillator. Doesn't really matter. Everything should be in tune. Here's our oscillator. Hey, Jim. So now what it's doing is it's just swooping up and down a really, really big range because, well, the Oct puts out plus or minus 10 volts, which is like double what most... Yeah, I was just in there, actually. So, like, this is too much. But then here's the question, then. If I wanted only some of those notes to sound, okay, just occasionally, like bing, boom, 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 right, to be distinct and separate, if I send it a trigger and an envelope, all right. Let me start my clock, and I'll give it a trigger from like. Here, I'll give it a trigger from a melodizer. Okay, and I'll just put it on like a random rhythm here, and we'll stick it into an envelope, and that is gonna go. Where? It's gonna go nowhere. We would have to go into a VCA or something. Okay. Or a filter. So filters work just as well sometimes, but if we go into a VCA and then we put this envelope into that there VCA, then what we see right away is our VCA is being opened, it's being triggered, it's doing its thing, right? And now if we turn this up, so what you hear are these individual triggers, but they've got notes moving. like each time the note is playing 2 or 3 notes, right? So even if we made it slower, that's a little better, right? But even there, did you hear? There was one little. So if you don't want that, which honestly is almost a bit of a natural sounding kind of thing. Okay. That's that plus or minus 10 volts thing. And now it's like the limits of the tracking of the oscillator, probably. It's just, it hit the hard limit and it went, can't get lower, boss, sorry. So it's going to hang there while the LFO continues tracking through like the negative 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 volts. So here is 0 volts on the LFO right now. Now we just started with the positive, so yeah. So like what you can do with the Bard Quartet is set it so that every time it changes voltages, it spits out a trigger, which is a really, really useful little feature, to be honest, because that way you don't have any of those like half over, overwritten notes kind of thing, like multiple notes per trigger sort of thing. Ether Life, what's happening? What's happening, everybody? Hope your Sunday is doing well, unless you're at a Monday, in which case it's probably just as good too. Someone's got a case of the Mondays. So my thought was like, okay, well, what if we just did a very sloths controlled, at least one voice would be kind of cool, right? And then I was like, we could also do the harmony layers. And like the harmony layers are sort of cool. The one thing that always stumps me in this is how do I incorporate the R bar? Because how do you match the layer of the R bar with something else that's changing chords, right? Every layer on the R bar is like a half a volt. Okay. Oh, you don't trust sloths? Well, I already have a sloths patched, 2 of them actually, in the red and the purple trace, as I typically do. So if I put... Actually, we can do this with 2 different voices, and I think that's a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna take. Let's make a Turing machine voice first, because that's gonna be the obvious one here. Okay. Specifically because I have this thing attached to a clock divider, and the clock divider has a kind of a variable voltage. It's got a CV in to the clock rate. All right, so it'll spew out clock. However fast you feel like it should. Okay, so we are in F Lydian, by the way. All right, so with the Bard Quartet, I need to go into like the edit mode and set up the trigger and trigger out is on for number 1. Okay, so each of these you can actually set that trigger up to go from all 4, but there's only one output, right? So, well, I'll tell you, the first thing that you can do, I think, with any modulation source is plug it into an oscillator, right? If you just stick a sloths in an oscillator and then listen to it, here's what you get from the fastest of the 3. So what it sounds like is it just an LFO, which but it's not. What you can see down here is the light on this one, on the one on the right here. Actually, you probably can't see it very well at all because cameras. I wonder if this one would be better. Yeah. So you see these three lights right here on my triple sloths. 1, 2, 3. Look at the third one. So the funky thing is the lights don't always mean what you think they would mean. In this case, on the top one, green means negative voltages. It's going through sea legs right now, so of course it's going to sound cooler. But at some point, this is going to flip to the red. So it's going off right now. So it's going green to off. Red is high voltage. At least on this one. On the second output down, it's flip-flopped. Now, I don't know if you just heard it, but it just slowed down a little bit. I think the range increased. So the rate is now less. Right? And you're not going to listen to this for a while to kind of understand, like, what exactly is going on here. Okay? Now, this needs to be constrained. Okay? That's one thing that's absolutely true, right? It needs to be constrained somehow, with an attenuator or whatever. Would be the logical way to do it. So if you took that range and you constrain it with an attenuator and you're only flexing up and down a tiny little bit, then the number of notes you're passing through on the barred quartet becomes less. Okay? So if you're going like 5 volts up and down, then you're going to be like tons and tons, and even, I only have 2 notes selected. Like, let's say you're like, oh, it's a C and a G, that's it. You're going to blast through 5 octaves of range in a fairly short period of time, So that's one thing. You need to constrain the voltage source somehow. Otherwise, your range is too much. Now, Turing Machine has a built-in attenuator, or attenuator, right? In just the level control right here, scale control, all right? So that's going in here, and then every time it generates a trigger, it's putting out a voltage. Actually, let's put this on channel 2 right now. And we'll put it just on like an F major 7 chord kind of a pattern. All right, because the Turing Machine supplies its own gate, right? So we'll put this into I don't know. Why are you here? Go away, buddy. We don't need you anymore. Could do rings. Rings would be cool. Dude, you know what's really cool? Is taking rings and putting it through clouds. That's really cool. It's really dope. Here, volt per octave. And then we'll take gate out number 1 here and put it into the strum. Now, you could choose whatever gate. In fact, let's put it on the second one here, which is 1 plus 2. Okay, so both of those have to be lit on the pulses expander for gate to get put out. Right there. All right. I do like to filter rings. I think it's happy when it's filtered. I'm only happy when I'm filtered. So let's do that. In fact, I don't know. I'm going to try to give a little bit more love to the SEM20ST over here. And just going to use it as a semi-basic low pass. And yeah. SEM20ST is hey Oasis. Yeah. All is well. Yeah. Where's the stinking? Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Yeah. The outputs are in really funky places in this thing. But see, it's a nice happy SEM filter, but it has the resonance section from an MS-20, and the gain is really dependent on that. Ooh, we have a sound. So if I turn the filter resonance all the way down, let's turn up clock rate. And of course we can lock that in if we want. Okay. But I don't want to. I don't want to lock that in. So then what we can do is throw a modulation source into the clock divider. Okay? And I'm going to use a little bit of this medium speed sloths right here. Just a little tiny bit. So what I need to do is reduce it quite a bit. So I'm going to go like 1/9 speed. And then we'll just throw some voltage in there. Now, what should happen then, in theory, is on occasion it's going to start going into like ultra spazzo mode and be like, and then rings will catch fire, and yeah, that'll be cool. It's pretty anticlimactic. And now, of course, it's gonna just not play because this is the curse or the price of generative music. All right. I think though, for everything that comes out of the Bard Quartet, I'm gonna throw it all into Sea Legs. I don't think that is a bad idea by any stretch of the imagination. We're gonna go heavy on the fog, which is reverb. I found an interesting fun thing with Sea Legs, which is to send it a half-speed clock. Oh, that's not going to work. Because the clock is coming from the Fractio Solum, which is also driving. Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, Modin. That's awesome. So when this clock rate changes, you're going to hear some pitch shifting and stuff, and the delay is going to go. I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of that. So we may have to just pull the clock for the Sea Legs. In fact, let's just do that because, kind of don't really need it. It just needs to be beautiful. The sloths just, like, hasn't even moved. This isn't the slowest of them. I should put it into the faster of the three, the middle one, which will give us some. Hey, Foist. Really? I thought I'd seen your name in here before. I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm just barely getting started here. Oh, see, it's going into spaz mode, which you can hear. That was fun. Yes. Yeah, you absolutely do. You're not wrong. Okay. And I kind of like where it's at, but I'm going to turn down the sloths a little bit so it doesn't go quite as spazzy. Okay, so let's hush that voice for now, and then let's do something a little bit different, but similar. Let's go neon green. So now I am going to directly, if the cable will reach, which it won't. You son of a... Oh my god, millimeters too short. You know what? That's fine, because I already said it once. I need it attenuated. You can't go in there raw. You can't go raw dogging your sloths. You gotta tone it down. Oh my god, I'm so stuffed up, and I'm so sorry, because I am Captain Sniffles, and ain't nobody want to hear that. Alright, so now we are on Harmony 1. This is the one that has the trigger associated with it, okay? And I can see the value of having multiple triggers. I think that would be pretty nice. So this could go nowhere because the cable isn't long enough. Curses. This is a cursed setup. No, it's my cables. We're in spaz mode there. It's like anytime you see the Turing machine go like we're in spaz mode for a while. Ooh, man. Is that a 4-to-1, 6-to-1 ratio? Okay, so topped out right around there. All right, good. That's not huge. I'm going to take the even output of this guy. Actually, let's try something. Let's just go, let's go low pass gate. I don't ever use a low pass gate because, you know, me and West Coast synthesis, we're not fans. Just kidding, by the way. I don't care. See, then we have the trigger out here. And we can just put that into, you know, the trigger. Hey, Daniel. Yeah, today's going to be a slow build. I should have said that like right from the beginning. That was definitely planned. Let's go up an octave. Since it's Monday there, does that mean you can tell the future? That's freaking cool, man. Hey, I started watching that, the Spider Noir. It's, I don't know. I'm sort of 50-50 between thinking it's kind of charming and going, man, this is like super corny. This is some like Marvel series spin-off Disney Channel shit. But because Sony holds the license to Spider-Man, they can, you know, give it to other people. That's really nice. Yeah, you know what, Daniel? That you are not wrong. I look for stuff that I can half watch while I like play a game. Like weird, like I play like Noita or Slay the Spire, or you know, there's a few. I started on a Diablo 4 kick again the other day. You know, so it's like I'm gonna try a thing here. I'm gonna do something real quick. Where is this guy? That's not a C. This whole thing is out of tune. Okay. I need to speed up my clock real quick and change my gate out just so I can listen to this and tune it. There you go. There you go, buddy. Good job. All right, and you're going back. And you're going back. It's still flat. There we go. If you didn't know, the FM input attenuator is also a fine tune on rings. If you didn't know that, now you know. Hey, Macho. All right, so you're doing your thing. You're doing your thing. Part of me is like, what happens if we stick the fastest sloths into this other voice? Okay, now, again, let's take it to the next level. See, there's multiple clock outputs on these Fractio Solums. And find it intriguing. In fact, let's take one of those. This guy. We're going to put that into the trigger in of sequencer. Let's make it just 6 steps. Keep it super easy. Parallel. So now we have 2 tracks available if we want. Okay. So I'm going to take CV out 1 into channel 3. So let's put this guy on channel 3. All right. And then, of course, I've got a... We've got a gate out that we can use. Could also just duplicate this trigger out right here, which is easy enough. So if we do that and we go into... let's go to a Zadar envelope, since they are close-ish. Is it only putting... Yeah, it's only putting out a trigger at the beginning of the cycle. That's weird. So if we do a gate out, that'll work. All right. And then we take our CV from here. All right. Let's use this as kind of a bass voice, maybe. I do have a chainsaw right here. So let's use that. Let's use chainsaw into into something. Chainsaw into... Actually, I kind of want to use a 24 dB filter. I want to go to like... Let's go to just a good fat ladder filter. That. And because this is part of this kind of complex coming out of the Van de Graaff generator, I mean the Turing machine. One more thing, which is No. Let's take this a step further. We can use another gate out from the Turing machine to advance this sequencer. Know what I'm saying? So now it's all still connected. Oh yeah, I got rid of that. I think Francisco has it. He bought it off of me. Okay. Let's throw all three of these together and see what we have so far. Yeah, honestly, I don't know if I gave that filter a fair shake. It was just a 12 dB filter, and I was like, I need something with ballsy bass and this and that. I think it's a much better sound shaping filter that I probably would appreciate more now. Oh yeah, we don't have our delays triggered yet. Sean breath. You know who has Sean breath? Sean. Yeah, it always just sounded a little bit wimpy to me, and it didn't have enough input gain, and it consistently pissed me off with my digital modules that really needed the filtering, you know, and before I had my collection of stereo filters. Clock is moving again. Put this on filter too. It's so heavy resonance, it just becomes obnoxious. Yep, probably. Dude, my dogs have the worst breath after they've eaten. Like evening time, like post-dinner nap time. It's like, damn, you smell like death. And they're like sitting on my shoulder. Hey, Iris. Okay, so let's add in something to this whole mess. All right, which that is going to be the harmony knob. So if I flip the harmony knob, we're back on like C's for everything. Okay, I'm going to do all four of these at the same time. In fact, I'm going to slave them all to the first one. Well, no, I don't want that. I don't want them all like the same. I do want these parts the same. But we're going to put this on just a C major 7 for the second one. And then we'll go the third one, D minor, the saddest of all keys. And then the fourth one, how about a G major? And then we'll go like A minor. And then we'll stick another F or 2, like an F major chord. Oh, hey, what the hell? See, it stopped doing... Oh, that's right. It's because each of these things has to be slaved. So you basically slave like the other channels to the first one, and then it copies settings from place to place. It's actually really easy, but you do have to do it individually per harmony. Right, so then now as I swoop through, and then what we can do is take one of the really slow sloths, right, and put that into the harmony output or input, right? So then our chords will constantly be changing. Yeah, well, I was watching Percepti's stream a little bit before this, and he was using the Bard, and he was talking about the expander, and I was like, you know, I don't have the expander. And it looks like it might be worth it, because it gives you 3 more trigger outputs. That might be super duper useful. Yeah. So the only thing is that it still is clocked, you know. Oh, and what we should probably do is put the harmony thing in the middle so that when it gets positive and negative voltages, it actually moves and does things. Okay, so this is just step one. All right. I'm going to mute this entire complex here. Just shut it off. Let's get some shit loaded up into the R, and then maybe get like some funky phantom voices or something instead of a ball of goo. I don't know. Let's see here. How can we... You know what I'm a big fan of? Are you a fan of Mellotron like I am? I really like Mellotron. Because, you know, one of my first... Like, I listened to music my parents listened to when I was a little kid, you know? And when I got into, like, maybe, like, late elementary school, like grade 5 kind of era, my friend was really into progressive rock. And so I started listening to that. And, like, that sound of, like, the Mellotron choir and the Mellotron strings is just... It's really, really nice. And the way, you know, they would swim the thing in reverb, you know, and it just sounds fucking great. And that... Yeah, thanks, Rick. Yeah, dude, I love... and the Selena, yeah, same thing. The Selena strings... I don't know. Most of you are maybe a little too noobish. You haven't seen my string machine, have you? I have a string. I have a string machine. It's a Korg Lambda. Um, back back yonder behind me. I should actually bust that thing out. Of course, it doesn't have MIDI, but it does sound really, really good. Um, Only if you enable the chorus. If you don't enable the chorus, then it just kind of sounds like kind of weak. But as soon as you go like ensemble effect, it's just like goosh. It's really, really beautiful. Okay, so that was my F. Let me try to recall what I've got here. So this is a C major, D minor, G, A. Okay, so kind of like standard, you know, basic shit here. Okay, so we'll go C major 7, D minor, G major, A minor, Now let's do another F. With the sharp 4. Okay. One moment. Hi. All right. So drum brute. Okay. Gotta find a place to put all this shit. That's a load-bearing Korg Lambda up there. Theremin. Ugh. This thing. This thing. So you probably can tell why I don't typically have it set up. Okay? Because it is a heavy, heavy beast. But it's really lovely. Yeah, so maybe sometime this week I'll hook it up. Especially now that I've unearthed it. Ugh. No, it's not that bad. It's like 30, it's like 20 something pounds maybe. 20 pounds, something like that maybe. It's not bad. It is made all of wood and steel though. So, whatever. But yeah, it does sound really good. So occasionally. But like I'll be honest. When you stick something into the R bar and you granularize it, yeah, oh yeah, tons of room for a synth to sit on top. Got an Alesis Ion back there too. Yeah, and it's like 48 keys. And it's full every key polyphony because it uses like a divide down oscillator. So yeah, it's a fun little, it's a fun big toy. All right, sorry, I'm trying to make plans for tomorrow. And I'm messaging 3 different friends on multiple mediums. Like one of them's like Instagram, one of them's like Facebook, and one of them's a text, and trying to coordinate. I'm like, guys, can you just give me your friggin' phone number? This is so stupid. Okay, R-bar. Now, what's going to control the layer? That is the big question. I don't know yet. I'm thinking we should sloths it. Like, honestly, why not? Right? So let's just take the medium speed and we'll go bonk into the layer control. And we're going to give it a good amount of internal reverb, wet only, because it sounds absolutely phenomenal. And then it should be hooked up. Okay. It's too much. There is a millimeter difference between... Oh, there's a good full... You know what I haven't tried is the Piano Tech Rhodes. I think they have one. Because I have Piano Tech, and it's absolutely fantastic. But like, yeah. So we unpacked our adjectives. You know you unpacked those adjectives, didn't you? Didn't you? So, yeah. So this is going too fast. So, slowest, slowest sloth it is. And then, of course, we need to modulate the filter. Like that. So it kind of just comes and goes. So, now, here's the big problem. The big problem. If you start combining all of these different harmonies, there is a strong to very strong chance that you're going to get something that does not blend well together. Right? And there's no good solution to that. That's why one of my constant quests has been to somehow integrate the vector and the Bard Quartet together. Okay, and what's tricky is, okay, if you send a volt per octave signal, like the R bar will do every volt or half volt, it goes up to the next level. Well, it's not about phase cancellation. It's about things like, oh, I'm playing an A minor chord over a B flat or something that just clashes really badly. Even whole steps when they're there's enough notes. So like a D minor and a C major, like that might not sound awful, but there are times where you could stack chords up and they sound really, really terrible. Now, the nice thing about this is that when you give them a nice bass tone, you can sometimes like hook them together. So, for example, a G major chord over a C. Okay. Hey, Yusuf. So a G major chord, if you stick an E in the middle of those two, now we have a C major 9 chord. Right? If we're in F and it plays an A minor, the A minor is the top 3 notes of an F major 7. So there's a lot of crossover when you kind of deal with things in thirds. Anything that's closer than that, you're going to run the risk. If it plays E minor and D minor at the same time, there's going to be some funky ass half steps in there. Because you're going to get E and F right next to each other in the middle of that. Right? And that's not going to be good. So, I'm going to set up a randomized bass that just kind of meanders along. Mostly it's going to be C. No, I don't want C, I want F. That's right, because we are in F Lydian. Keep forgetting. So most of these I want as a C, or as an F. God damn it. So I'm going to do 4 stages more than that. Let's go 12 steps. So 8 stages are going to be F. We'll do a high one also, like an F4, and maybe even a low one. I bet you the low one is going to sound too low and muddy to be super useful. Okay, and let's make them pretty long. I think I'm going to make these 4 whole notes, which is pretty chunky. Music theory is good for you. And we're going to use the black and blue because, I mean, it sounds, absolutely phenomenal. Always. You've got a sub that you can bring in, and you've got 16 oscillators with detune, and if you do not understand the power of the black and blue Oscar Tria, then You are a simp. No, you just haven't heard it yet. It's fantastic. You know, Chainsaw used to be like my absolute favorite, and it has been more than eclipsed by the Oscar Tria. It's much bigger, but it also has a chord mode. I don't record anything. Dude, I was just thinking about that today, Dominic, like when I first started, and I was like, yay, I can play one note. And I was just like, this needs more. I need more. I want to make music in the entire rack. That was always my goal. And I have come to kind of realize that that's a pretty rare thing. Hit play. Okay, and then obviously we are going to do some slothity sloths action on this. Let's just go straight into the volt per octave. Just a little bit of sloths. Do you have sub? Yeah, you do. There's without sub. Yeah, Diego, I kind of rely on streaming, on, you know, YouTube having copies of everything. That C sounds absolutely ballsy. Okay, it's a bit much. I don't know if I really wanted to get that quite that hot, and I'm not going to do any envelopes or anything like that. I could. I mean, we could put it into the drive. That would be easy, and just do some like swell kind of stuff. But let's just leave it. I'm just gonna leave it go, and let it do its thing. Still going a little bit too spazzy for me. I kind of wanted to just maybe hit like a 3-to-1 or a 4-to-1 ratio. Well, it is, and part of that is laziness. It's not really, because all I have to do is hit start recording. You know, and like literally just take a hard disk recording of the video, and you get a nice happy digital output. Yeah, I would say in my journey, I got my vector sequencer pretty early, and that was a very formative thing. You know, now I have two. I have the Vector Mark II in here right now, and a Mark I behind me in a box. See, like right now, it's playing like a G over an F bass. Okay, let's try something. I do have a fourth channel of the Bard Quartet. So... what I'm thinking is that I might be able to just use single notes on the fourth layer Oh, son of a bitch, I fucked everything up. Oh, damn it. There we go. Okay, and then if I go back to this one, we should have chords. So theoretically, I should be able to stick this... Yes! So now our bass should match. And it does. Excellent. Now the R-bar won't. The R-bar is going to be like, I'm doing my own thing. Whatever. Okay, hang on. Let's shut everything off and let's keep building. Let's keep building voices. I really like environmental noises that are pitch shifted into strangeness. I find that to be very, very cool. And let's do that. I'm thinking like maybe like forest sort of thing, maybe, sort of, kind of, maybe. Forest ambience, woodland ambience, bird song. Has to be a good stereo image. If not, I just discard it. This is pretty good. That's very quiet. And it sounds like it's mostly white noise. Oh, you played around with the Vector? Or the Ripsaw? Yeah, I was thinking about selling either one or both of my chainsaws and getting a Ripsaw. I have two of them in here, and they are nice. I mean, they work really good. Yeah, let's record this. Probably good enough. Mute that. Yeah, the fact that each sequencer or part has like two sub-sequencers that you can use to like mess with it. I'm gonna do an experiment stream this week, maybe tomorrow, where I'm gonna start looking at the CV ins on the Vector and really kind of put them through their paces and see what they can do. See how we can like mess with it and corrupt it into strange and unusual places, which I think is a good goal, frankly. Okay, we'll go white patch cables for this. By the way, what is this? The Nova output. What is that? Is that audio? They never really explained it, and they purposely don't explain it. Oh. That's putting out like a clock pulse. What? Why? Why? Alright, so there we have it. But, number one, we've got filters. We've got a low pass and a high pass right in the front panel. But you need to do pitch shifting first because it changes your frequency ranges. So I'm going to reduce this by a lot. Like it's panned. Why is it panned? Okay, so we can filter a little bit of the low end. And the high end. And of course, we can send a modulation source into the filter. Should be a good idea. Are you too far away? Nope, just barely not. Let's put this on medium speed though. And make sure it's looping. Yeah, and then the Vector also has 2 MIDI outs, which is what I use for polyphony and stuff. So I go TRS MIDI cable direct into the Z-Cal Dimension or the Demon Core. Something else that I thought I had that takes that, and I don't remember what it was. I have a Micro Freak at home. I should, I don't really want it anymore. I want to sell it. But I should at least try to hook it up here and see if it'll work. Okay, so then this we can also glitch. We can do some funky stuff with let's put this, both of these guys, these are all sort of like stochastic generated envelopes or LFOs on this thing. So you set a high and a low range, or a minimum and a maximum for the rise and the fall time. Okay, so this is going to go to slice. And then what I kind of want to do is put this into the reverse control. Oh, that's the wrong one. This is the reverse control. Okay, so that is a gate out. So every time the cycle starts triggering over, it also sends out a gate, which means that will reverse. And occasionally it's going to spaz out like that. Yeah, we can throw volt per octave into it also. We can, do whatever we want. In fact, let's just take another one. And we'll throw it into the volt per octave. Oh, you know what it is you're getting 2 different inputs. One is like my whole sound card, which is how you can hear my DAW and stuff like that. And then the microphone is its own input. So when they're both enabled, it does phase cancellation, and it's really annoying. So, yeah. I usually don't keep the other one turned on, though. Okay, let's put that away. We'll just let it do its thing. And let's maybe whip up a ball of goo, since I already have it patched, and it's kind of already ready to go. Thinking sparse. Piano. I think that ought to do it. And that is yada yada yada. This guy.
Got those vintage sounds. We got CP80. We got Mellotron Choir. It's so vintage. Oh my god.
Okay, we'll put that away. We need more. How about an occasional... How about an occasional fairy dust style little sequency guy that just goes and it sounds cool. All right. How are we gonna do this? Okay. First of all, what I want to do is take the rarest gate output from the Turing machine. All right. And that's going to go into the clock input of my clock divider up there, which is just a dope for basic A160-2. All right. And then this is going to go, let's say, like divide by 16 maybe. Oh, yeah. It's in full spaz out mode right now. Damn it. Okay. See, that needs... This absolutely still needs, like, less movement on the clock. Okay, that's all right. And then take that kind of like 1/8 output into a... we don't need this big cable. What the hell? Because I got Quadrax channels available. Oh, plenty. Can't fit, doesn't fit. Sorry, it's too short. It's not. Liar. Man, it's barely... All right, we'll put this into a fairly long rise and fall envelope so that it just kind of goes whee and then it's gone. See, like there it goes, and it's doing its thing. And we'll put that into a VCA. So basically, it just kind of occasionally comes and goes, right? The clock divider, by the way, is because when this is in full-on clock spaz out mode, orbital. Is that one of those configurable things? That would be interesting. You could do some kind of cool stuff with that if you had a CV, depending on the position of the loop, and you timed your loop like correctly. You do interesting stuff because you could use that to like scan through like a sliced up sample, like in a sample drum, or do all kinds of things. Okay. Now what I need is a let's go like part 3 here. I just want a really fast like little scanning sequence. So let's put this on speed. Then it's going to go back and forth. Let's just make it like 8 parts. Why not? Or why not? And then what we can do is just basically take two cables here and go into the water and just use the built-in envelope. And then just go into the VCA. Then we're going to take the output of that there VCA and put it into something nifty. I don't know what. What should we put that into? I do have a channel of sea legs left open. This is not a horrible idea. Let me turn everything down so that's all we hear. And that way when it actually plays, it works. Okay. That needs to be faster. So we should get faster. Okay, so that's basically you're just going to be like, do its thing. Let's set up a subsequence here too, also. So that it basically goes like 8th note. Speed, not that it matters, because honestly, let's make it 3. And then I want to do octave, up and down. I'm going to go +1, 0, +1. So that way it's constantly cycling through octave up, octave down. Okay, so it's always just kind of like doing that, like up and down kind of thing, right? All right, let's leave these guys down for now. And then, what else do we have? We have the subharm. Subharmonicon could be sort of cool, actually, in this. Because I think you can send it a thing. And let's see, sequence 1 clock, no. What we want to do, what if we just gave it a What if we gave it an occasional gate or trigger into its clock in? Will it play like that, or is it going to try to predict a tempo and then keep playing at that speed? Or is it just like, I got a step from you, therefore I'm going to play? That's the question. You know, that's one thing about old school sequencers like this guy. It's just like, yeah, my mic has a noise gate. Yeah, Moo, it could be that too. I don't know. But yeah, I do have a noise gate on it. Well, let me see here. Let me plug in an output and see if we can make it do interesting stuff. There we go. BCA guy into. Let's put it into the. Let's put it into the Holocene delay. And use that to maybe make some kind of like big poofy pseudo reverb. It's working. It is working. Oh god, that's out of tune and horrible. Okay. Perfect. Motherfucker, you are not even turned up. That's why, because I'm being stupid. Because I have the control things set incorrectly. Now I hear a weird chorus thing on my voice, and I don't know why. That's really strange. Why do I? Oh, I bet you're right. I'll bet you it's because I'm turning my head sideways, and then you're getting the maybe the headphone. I don't know, man. Okay, never mind. I'm just doing this dumb. Reset. Hello? Hello? Can you go? Dude. So that's kind of my base layer. Uh, Now we give it a clock, right? And then give it a good amount of attack and decay on the envelopes. Like so. Like so. Oh, I like the subharm. Okay, and now, of course, we enable our delay. And it becomes a really interesting little effect. Throw it through some good reverb here. So then if we go to spaz mode, as it looks like it's about ready to, this should start playing faster. Changed my mind. This guy's getting the cosmic debris treatment. In fact, it's already wired up. Little pitch shifting on there. Delicious. Let's throw it all together and see what we got so far. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 voices. Should suffice. I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Okay, so let's make that not start away right away. And this is when I warn you that if you are photosensitive, look away! It will be terrible. Your eyes will explode and boil. Your very retinas will detach and fly off into the sun. Oh, it is a terrible thing. Camera on here, and we turn camera on. Randomize. Goodbye. We go, is the camera on for this? Because it should be. Why isn't the camera just always going to be on? Because it ought to be. All right. just found an 8-inch long puppy hair in my mixer. water system. Be kind of a cool thing. Man, that hits that F bass. Everything locks into place.
So good.
Yeah, well, we used to call those sound-alikes, and it was an assignment that I had multiple times in like engineering school, where you had to like, hey, here's the song, recreate it as close as you can, you know. Can we get this to a cosmic, supermassive style reverb? Killed the buffer. So this is like infinite feedback. Then of course you could do more than 100% feedback and have it start feeding back on itself. Yeah. One of my favorite things on that on the cosmic debris is giving a little tiny bit of really slow drifty modulation into the feedback knob, and you put it almost at infinite feedback. So if you notice, the LED goes from pink to yellow right here, kind of by my thumb. That's infinite feedback, and then red is when it starts adding gain as it goes. So the lights on this thing are really, really nice. They're just well designed, well thought out. So, anyways, I'm out. And thank you for compliments and for watching and so on. And yeah, uh, I'm thinking maybe KnobCon this year doing something like this. I mean, it is the chill out room, so it would be kind of cool to start with just a big gooey wad of ambience. That'd be kind of dope. So, anyways, I'm out of here. And keep an eye out for at least one midweek stream. I'm thinking probably tomorrow. And, maybe Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see. But,